What's going on, guys? This is Bossrosslp, and welcome to Sword of Seals, the third Fire Emblem Let's Play I'm going to be doing. I know I said I was going to be doing Link's Awakening, and I'm still working on it, but I just had this awesome urge to play some sick-ass Fire Emblem. And when you get these urges, as a Let's Player, everyone knows that you have to do it, because you don't know when you'll ever get that again. This is a Japan-only game, meaning pretty much there's no other way to get it legitimately other than if you're from Japan, or you order the game over here, so legitimately there's no way to get an English version. Unless you somehow figure out a way to hack, like a literal cartridge. But whatever, I never played the other two on cartridges anyway. And if you want to understand what I'm talking about Sword of Sacred Stones. And I'm also talking about Fire Emblem 7, which was just called Fire Emblem in America. Or Blazing Blade, or Blazing Sword? One of those in America, or in Japan. This is Fire Emblem Sword of Seals, which is basically considered the sequel to Fire Emblem 7. So it's basically, Fire Emblem 7 is a prequel. So, kind of cool if you went from that game to this game. In fact, I think it's even cooler than going from this game to that game. But, hey, let's take a quick look. New game. Oh, yep, gotta get used to these buttons. Well, oh well. New game. Begin. Yeah, I really hope my throat doesn't get in the way. Been kind of shitty this week. I have a little bit of coke, that should help. Men and dragons once lived in harmony on this land. However, that harmony was broken when the men suddenly started to invade, in a great war known as the Sky Ring. Both sides fought over control of the continent. The laws of nature were twisted from the vast amount of power that was released. The dragons were defeated and disappeared from the face of the continent. Mankind then began to spread its forces to populate the land. And now, 1,000 years later, the shortest backstory in the world. The people of the continent alive have been spreading technology and civilization for some time now, after the dragons have been defeated in the Sky Ring. In the west resides the kingdom of Etruria, whatever, that place, which has the highest level of civilization alive. The kingdom of Bern, with a powerful military and a practical and pragmatic attitude about life, is located in the east. These are the two strongest nations in alive, and the lesser nations are located between them. There's the Lycian Alliance, otherwise known as the Lycian League, which is under joint relationships of various marquesses. The people of the Knights Union of Ilia are hard at work cultivating the snowy wastelands in the north. In Sacia live various clans which ride through the plains on horseback. Although there were occasionally clashes between nation-states, there was a general sense of balance, of power, and peace in Alive. However, that balance was suddenly disrupted. King Zephiel, ruler of the Kingdom of Bern, has sent his forces out to conquer the rest of Alive. Bern's forces invaded Sacia and Ilia mercilessly and massacred all those who stood against them. And now, Bern has shown signs of invading the Lycia Alliance. A youth named Roy was in Lycia's largest territory, Ostia. He was sent as a transfer student to train to become the next Marquess of Foray. However, Lywood, who has fallen ill, has sent for Roy to return home. Just around that time, Lena, the daughter of Hector, had traveled to Lycia to pay her respects to Eliwood, or Eliwood, however the hell you say his name. After getting the message, Roy hurried back home, taking with him his loyal knights and Bors, a knight from Ostia, responsible for Lena's safety. The story begins when Roy had reached an area on the outskirts of Paray. Quickly pause and whoops. Sorry about that. Anyway. Chapter 1. Dawn of Destiny. Time for voice acting. Oh god, I gotta bring this back. Alright, let's get set up. Let's figure out these voices. Boss, the residents of the castle have hidden themselves inside. Even alive with the greatest knight in Lycia can't beat an illness, eh? Yeah, sometimes the text gets a little slow. I'll speed it up. You're right when you said there wouldn't be many soldiers around here because they're getting ready to take on Bert. Of course. Who do you think I am? But you never know when reinforcements are gonna come. Alright. Kill off the guys in the castle while we still got time. Then the treasure is all ours. Castle ain't the only place to treasure. Let's go ransack the villages and get some loot. Stereotypical bandits. Master Lywood, the bandits from Bone Mountain are attacking us. Let's see. Blast. If I weren't in this state, I would teach them a lesson. A serious one, because I must be like level 30 at this point. Mr. Lywood. Lillian, you must hide somewhere. This castle is going to become battlefield. On the battlefront. No, sir. I will fight too. Don't be ridiculous. If something happened to you, I wouldn't know what to say to Hector. I'm giving him kind of a raspy. Well, I guess that does fit because he does have a sickness. My father. It's going to be alright. Boys should be almost here by now. So if we can hold out our own until then, we can drive off these bandits. Merlinus, I want you to send a messenger to Roy and informing him of this attack immediately. Yes, sir. I'm sorry to give him a droopy dog voice. Whatever. Now we get to see another familiar face. Oh, it's Lance. What's the matter? Well, Roy's technically a familiar face. Not really, but he grew up a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces here. Just go watch Fire Emblem 7 the ending and you'll see what I mean. Why are you in such a hurry? Master Roy, bandits have appeared and are attacking the castle as we speak. What? Is Loyal Lywood safe? Why do we have the same voice? He's inside defending against the bandits' attacks. But I don't know how long he can last. His illness. Excuse me, Lance, is it? Is Lady Lilina safe? Are you from Ostia? Lady Lilina is in the castle. She should be alright. As long as Lord Lywood is with her. But he can't last forever. No. I shouldn't have let Lilina go to the castle before me. By the way, say this right now, her name's Lilina. I know. I can see it. The spelling is Lilina. I'm going to be calling her Liliana. I don't care. That's just so much easier for me to say than Lilina. I'm calling her Liliana. I don't care. Lord Roy, regrets won't solve anything. We must recapture the castle. Bolt is right. We must hurry. Yeah, you're right. Alright, let's go. We're going to save those trapped in the castle. Get another sip of Coke. And welcome to Fire Emblem 7. Or 6. Shut up. And right off the bat, we're starting with 6 units. Pretty nice at the game. Yeah, this game's a little bit different than 7 or 8. Well, kind of more like 8 style. You see, what happened with 7 was, because it was the first game, they wanted to make sure they gave you the tutorial. This game, the tutorial is completely optional, which I do really enjoy, because it's a very good tutorial, and just the fact that it's optional instead makes it a lot simpler. So we have 6 units to go over immediately. Alright, here's another little thing. After the first game I did, the 7th, and went on to Sacred Stones, I started doing character bios, so I might as well do a little bit of character bioing. Let's start off with our main lord and the only lord of this game. Thank God. I got kind of annoyed with having to train so many lords and having to retrain the same lords because you have to train your lords pretty much, but whatever. We got Roy. Roy is, without a doubt, the son of Eliud. You can see it in his face. He looks pretty much exactly the same. Hell, his starting stats are 100% the same with the exception of Khan, which is 1 lower, which kind of sucks. So, what is Roy? Roy is kind of the worst lord in the Game Boy Saga. Sorry, Roy, you kind of got that end of the stick there. Anyway, he does good in terms of speed. Like, I like him a lot better than Eliud in terms of speed. And he does seem to get a pretty hefty amount of resistance, as well as a couple of things like skill, and even a little strength, definitely a ton of luck. But he doesn't get enough strength and defense to really make up for it. And the fact that his level up comes at chapter 21, that's just a little ridiculous. I know Eliud comes at 26, but think about it. You had 10 Lin chapters to go through. That means he technically gets it on 16. A whole 5 chapters faster than Roy. And Roy really needs that level up to become good. So, it's whatever. Roy's not bad, like I said, and you want to use him because he gets really good later on because of one thing that appears, which I'm not going to spoil, but right now, he is without a doubt the worst. Technically, I like him better than Eliud because of that speed growth, but I have to go along with the idea. So it's my personal ranking. In terms of lords, I'm probably going to give him a 6 out of 10. And, as you'll see with all the stuff that's flashing up on the screen, I hope I didn't forget. I shouldn't have forgotten. There's also going to be my vote, as well as the general consensus vote of what people generally vote on, which I will find off the site. So, next up, we got Marcus, our first pre-promote already. And you all remember who Marcus was. Yep, he was the Jigen of Fire Emblem 7. So was he in this game? The Super Jigen of Fire Emblem 6. Yep, look at those stats. Fuck. A level 1 pre-promote doesn't even break 10 strength. That is fucking miserable. In terms of stats, he is completely inferior to the Marcus of old, with the exception being his HP, which I think is 2 higher, or 1 higher, for some god known reason, I don't know. Even his con is worse, I think. Honestly, in almost every single way, look at his sword mastery. Don't use Marcus. Just don't use Marcus. Marcus is shit, is the best way I can describe it. Marcus in the old game had a niche because you could basically speedrun the game, and he was the best character to do it. He was top tier speedrunner. This time around, no. His stats are so abysmal, I think you'd have a better chance speedrunning with Walt. We'll get to in a second. But, yeah, Marcus, sorry man. If you get another prequel where it's Albert and Marcus, like you as like a young paladin or a young cavalier, whatever, I bet you'll be amazing. That better happen. But for right now, you've gone from goodish to shit-ish. Really shitty-ish. Only a 2, and that's probably being generous out of 10. Next up, we got Bors, who is basically a knight serving Lastia. This is a weird character. Bors starts out with some really decent stats. A 14 con, some pretty decent strength, a lot of defense. You basically have a knight here who's set to jet. However, this is one of the weirdest knights I have ever seen. Arguably one of the weirdest knights, in fact, arguably the weirdest knight out of the Game Boy games. His speed is just fucking weird. It Zumba foos, like seriously, it just go boom. For some reason, this is the fastest knight And sometimes he isn't the fastest knight, and then other times he's the most defensive or attack. Like, he's basically an oddball. Sometimes he can be better than the best knights, and sometimes he can be almost as bad as the worst knights. So you're really taking a gamble if you use boars. Which is kind of why I'd like to get another chance at, you know, use them. Why not? I mean, it's boars. Look at this guy. He's got golden armor and green hair. And a cleft chin. Like, you gotta love the guy. Alright, up next we got Wolf, who is appropriately named Roy's milk brother. Okay. Not sure what a milk brother is. I'm assuming it's like you both breastfeed off the same breast. Maybe. I don't know. I'm probably stupid for thinking that. Or maybe I'm completely right. I don't know. Anyway, Wolf, open Wolf style. Yeah, you know, that's what Ann did. Like, whenever I did the hack, he made fun of his name, Wolf. Like, Wolf, open Gumno style, whatever. Anyway, Woltz is kind of interesting. He rivals Will, in a way, from Fire Emblem 7, however, in a shittier way. I don't feel he's nearly as good as Will, and he just doesn't get enough speed to make it worth it. He's a pretty okay tank in terms of archers, though. It's kind of weird. He does get some decent defenses, however, I think he's too unreliable to really be a good unit. Oh, right, I forgot to rate Boars, but... Okay, due to Boars' random nature, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Yeah, that sounds about right. And as for Wolt, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. He's usable, but I don't know. You probably won't see me using him. In fact, you definitely won't see me using him. Now we got our two Cavaliers, who I'm basically going to rate side by side. First off, we got Alan and Lance. If you take one look at them, you already know their niche. Lance is the fast and skilly one. Alan is the strong and somewhat luckier, somewhat higher HP one. Alan is, like I said, he rivals Sane, and Lance rivals Kent. Which is kind of funny, because for the longest time, Fire Emblem had a stretch of doing the Green Knights being defensive, or being speedy, and the Red Knights being, strength. But for some reason, 7 and 8 bunked it up and made it the other way around, with Kyle and Ford as well as Kent and Sane. So I don't know why they did that, but they did that. So because I used Kent, who's the speedy one, then I used Kyle, who's the strong one, who am I going to use this time? Well, I believe I'm going to be using Alan, because, I don't know, Alan's more fun to me, I suppose. I mean, already Lance can actually double these people if you take a quick look. Yeah, so I don't want to do that. That's cheating. That's a really dumb explanation. But yeah, I think I'll go with Alan, because that does sound more fun to me. And yeah, that's all the characters. In terms of how I rate these two, I'd rate them both a 7 out of 10. Both of them are basically a 7 out of 10. They're interchangeable. Pick whichever one you want. Personally, I've heard Lance turns out a little bit better sometimes, or most of the time, in personal reasons. Like, I don't know. Personally, I say just go with whoever you want. Anyway, I'll hand you the Javelin, the Vulnerary, and... Oh, right, we got to do all the stats, don't we? The configuration. Man, I haven't even started yet. Jesus Christ. You know, I'm not even going to bother the animation. Just make it 2 for everyone. Game speed, let's go fast. Text speed, fast. Auto cursor, no. Auto when turns. Actually, I want to keep that on. That's good. And window color, good old window color. We'll make it green. Why not? I like green. Let's begin.